Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with trombonist, arranger, and composer John Yao on the 2022 CD John Yao's Triceratops Off-Kilter. We caught up with him for the first time back in 2019, and now the world is in a very different place. And he had a baby in June of 2020. This album captures a sense of risk-taking and disconcerting invention that make up a very unpredictable album. We cover this new material, COVID living, upcoming live gigs, and so much more. Enjoy.
All right, well, how's life?
Good, yeah, hanging in.
Good.
Been a lot of changes since 2019 for everyone, yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's the last time we spoke, wasn't it? It was in 19?
Yeah, right.
Man, I have these rendezvous with artists, and every time I think about that time period, it's like the architecture of everything has just been so permanently altered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. My wife and I had a baby too, so that's also been a big alteration
yeah,
in my lifestyle. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he came in 2020, so we've just been kind of, managing that, of course, and then trying to have a life outside of that too.
The one thing I was thinking over this time, and I'm watching Stranger Things. Have you seen that show on Netflix?
I watched the first season a while back. I haven't caught up to on it though.
Well, this is the thing I was thinking about when this pandemic started and people were talking about having babies, is that there should be something called the COVID kids, and Spielberg should do it, and it should be all of the kids that were in the womb at the time because everyone was at home. They talk about if you hear more voices and more music while you're in the womb, it increases your intellect. So the idea is that all these kids that were in the womb during that time, they'll come out and say 20 years later, they'll all get together and come up with a cure to any virus that would potentially shut Earth down again.
There you go. I love it.
So,
oh my God.
I mean,
you need to pitch that, dude.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But at any rate, man, it's great to catch up. And I think the thing about, before we get to this album, I want to know, I know you had a child. How did you survive artistically? I mean, the world shut down so fast. How did you survive?
I guess I just tried to keep myself busy. Honestly, I did have my hands full with the baby. That was a huge part of it. He came in June 2020, so which is right. We were all ready to take a trip before that. Right before he was born. Probably let's do one more trip, and then of course we had to cancel the trip in March. So, artistically, I just tried. I was teaching a lot. I think that helped. Teaching online was sort of keep me playing and keep me in the musical headspace. And, I was trying to find time as now I was just trying to find time to do music whenever I could, writing, playing, teaching. I don't know, it was all kind of woven together. So, and this album was recorded, the second day. So the first album, How We Do, was one day, and then the next day we did Off-Kilter. So this one had kind of been sitting there for a while. And so then I, started thinking about planning to release this one and working on, the editing and mixing and stuff. So that helped me really kind of get back musically into, that sort of state of mind. So, but it was hard. I can't say that I, some people were really productive and wrote all this music, and I had my hands full with the baby and tried to do what I could here and there and just keep myself, engaged musically.
So I guess that's the other part of this, is that now that we're on the tail end, we're coming out. It's officially been announced that the pandemic is over with. It has been relieving. I remember about a month ago, Biden said it and Fauci came out, and it was like an announcement. But I just acted like I just didn't see it because we've undulated so much. I'm just like, I'm not, Let's not say anything about this. Let's just hope and keep our fingers crossed. But, but I guess, being at a point where there's live shows, things are opening up, this is a pretty advantageous time for artists. How does this collectively feel to have this come out with the chance for live music?
Oh, it feels great. We played our show on last Sunday. It was so much fun. It was an amazing experience to get to play with the musicians again and play this music again. I think that was the other thing that just really sort of, I've been listening to it and obviously working on the mixing and mastering and all this stuff. But then to come back and play it again is another thing. So that, it was just great to reconnect with it. my son was at the show. It was the first show he's seen me play, so that was really great. But musically, yeah, it's been great to reconnect. I've done some stuff with my big band too, and have some stuff coming up, in August at Birdland, and then I'm going to play back at the Culture Lab in September with my big band. So that's sort of rolling again. So that's really exciting. But I do feel like musicians are really itching to play. Like everyone's really dying to get out and play, and so it's a great time, I think, in that sense. But then there's also the landscape has changed. Like some of the venues that were around are gone. Some new ones have come in, and which is great. But then some of the expectations, how they want you to play, and how long it's sort of changed too. So they're trying to get back on their feet too. So it's just like a changing landscape all the time. But to play again is awesome. I mean, to get a chance to, and we had some new players in the band, which was great, and they brought some new stuff to the table, and yeah, it was great, really exciting, really, amazing experience. And I think I realized too that like I'm these two records with Triceratops, I'm just really proud of this music, really happy, and love playing it. I'm gonna live with it for a while and like try to continue exploring playing this music more and writing some more stuff. But kind of spend a little more time digging in on this music. It's so challenging, and there's a lot of room for me to work on it and the band to explore, and this is kind of a unique set of songs, I feel like.
So you were saying changing landscapes, and I was just thinking my 80s brain went back to Atari, and I thought we're all like Frogger. We're just like leaping and hoping, and like there's because we were told 2 or 3 times, go out, do your thing, and then all of a sudden we get masked up, and it spreads more than it did in the beginning. It's been a bizarre time like that, and I'm sure for artists too. For a long time there, you had to watch stadiums that were filled with people, but you couldn't play music.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a crazy thing. I mean, then there was. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not that much different because everyone's breathing. But when you're playing a wind instrument, it's such a even bigger concern, I think, medically.
Yeah.
So, and that factored into my teaching a lot too. Like Berkeley, they had everyone's wearing masks and playing masks, and then bell covers, and we're trying to social distance in this room that's tiny. It's like it was kind of silly. But they were testing everyone, and they were, everyone was very. I feel like lucky I've never caught COVID. I feel like I'm kind of an outlier in that sense. Almost everyone I know has had it, so somehow I've managed to dodge it, and hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, definitely changing all the time, and then back to playing again. And then I played on the other week, and some people had COVID at the rehearsal, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's always evolving,
Yeah, there was a show on HBO. It was about the Rapture, and the Rapture was on October 14th, and there was all these people that were left behind, and everybody was walking around wondering, why is it that this person didn't go and this person went? And there was all these questions. It's called Left Behind, and it was a book.
Mm-hmm.
But I keep thinking about COVID. Like when I hear people that haven't gotten it, I'm like, wow, what happened? What did you do? And I've been hearing that increasingly more because I got it with my son very early on, and my wife and stepdaughter did not get it, and we were in the same house. I mean, we separated in quarantine, but it's like the mysterious nature, and I keep hearing this too, where families are together, a couple will get it, a couple won't, and people now that don't get it, the nature of how this manifests, biologically speaking, I guess speaks to what we knew from the beginning. It's really, as much as we know, there's as much that we don't know, if not more.
Right. It's basically zero.
Yeah, right. We don't know anything.
We basically don't know anything, which, I could have told you that, so.
Yeah. So I'm curious, that show you had Sunday, now that musicians are getting out performing, what was the vibe in the audience? It seems as though there's a more receptive vibe going on. What did it feel like versus before?
Definitely. I mean, it was really, really good audience, very receptive. A lot of it had to do with the fact that a lot of friends of mine came out. I think, the venue itself is great. It's this outdoor performance. It's a parking lot, and they build a stage off a shipping container, and they have beer and food in the corner, and you can go across the street and get a beer and bring it in the parking lot. So it's very and it's free, and it's good for families and kids, and the weather cooperated, so that helped a lot with filling it in. But yeah, everyone was super positive and really I think just people are just really, just like the musicians are itching to get out and hear music now, and like us were dying to get out and play. So, I think that the response was really positive. Yes, some of this music is a little crazy, so sometimes I'm not 100% sure how that's going to get received by people. Some people are like, "Oh, that was really cool," and they don't know what it was, but they were open to it. And other people are like, "No, I didn't like that." So I just didn't know how that was going to go over, because this album's a little different than the first one. So I think I was pleasantly surprised to see that people were totally supportive of all the music that we played from Off-Kilter.
I think it's something to see that up front. Are you familiar with Nduzo Makatini, the South African pianist?
No.
Well, he came to Kansas City. Yeah, he's wonderful, and he's very avant. His drummer's Cuban, and he played with, I think, Jackie McLean for a little while. But it was a real, tight set. Like Logan Richardson, who has ties to Kansas City, was there. And my wife, I've been really kind of baptizing her in jazz since we met. We got married in 19, but we've been together for a while. So this was a new show, and it was pretty avant, pretty out there, like something that she probably had never seen. But when you see that live, the room was just kind of in that stunned silence. And then there would be a few people that were just really grooving and getting into it. And it's a different experience, especially because Kansas City tends to be more of a straight-ahead kind of town. It'll play into that history, but it'll also kind of be in that more safer space. So I remember telling my wife, this is like Major League New York jazz. This is like something you won't see in Kansas City that often. So anyway, I was just thinking you saying that and how people would respond to it. And I think when you see that up front, even if you don't choose to listen to it all the time, there has to be an admiration for what is going on in front of you, especially with the fact that we've been away from live music for so long.
Definitely. Yeah. And I think people are, I think you're right. People, when they see it live, they're a little more willing to give it a chance, I think, because they can see what's going on, and they can see the reactions of the other musicians. I think that, on the record, you can't do that. So there's something there with that for sure. And people are, maybe everyone's not totally into it, but they can sense when other people enjoy it, and I think it's people don't also, with something that's sort of a little looser, avant kind of, they just don't know what to make of it. And they don't know how to judge it, because they're used to having these certain parameters, and they're all of a sudden gone. So, but at the end of the day, it's like, if they just liked it, cool. If they didn't, then great. That's fine too. I think it's funny to get people out of their comfort zone. I like to take people there and stretch them a little bit, pull them out a little bit of their comfort zone for jazz, and try to stretch their ears a little bit.
Let's get to the good business here of where everybody can pick up Off-Kilter, find out about any live shows coming up, anything involving your world. Where should they go and what should they do?
Yes, absolutely. Off-Kilter is available on Bandcamp. You can stream it on, Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, all these, any of the, digital platforms. Lucky enough to be added to the ASCAP New Music Friday list, so there's one of the tracks on there on Spotify. And Triceratops, if you want to find out about upcoming shows, you can go to my website, johnyao.com, and you can look at the calendar where there's shows listed. Right now, there's nothing planned for Triceratops. I'm working on some stuff, but I have some big band things coming up in August, playing at Birdland in August with my big band, and then back at the Culture Lab. And actually, I'm at Birdland, we're going to play all Charlie Parker music, because it's the month of Charlie Parker music at Birdland. So we're going to play all Bird tunes, and then back to the Culture Lab in September for more original big band stuff of my own for the John Yao 17-piece instrument. But all that stuff is on my website, and of course you can check out Facebook and Instagram and keep up with what's going on there. And I'm hoping to have more shows for Triceratops soon that I can share, and people can come out and check them out.
Cool, John. Hey, man, good luck with everything.
Thanks,
good
Joe.
luck with fatherhood. You got big days, Sunday, so enjoy it.
Yeah, right. Okay, you too, all right? Take care.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players and minds in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to John for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. And for everything Joe Domino related, you can go to joedomino.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.